for our playoffs, you're racing 40 competitors every single weekend. You're not just playing against one team, so you can't have a bad race.
Win and you advance. Every driver knows that, and we're going to go for it.
The slightest little bit of mistake can take you right out. Your entire season can be over.
Every position matters, every point matters. Chances are going to get taken when guys are on the outside looking in.
There will be situations where you have to put your back up against the wall and do things that most other people can't do.
Kevin Harvick has been able to keep his championship hopes alive.
The key moments in any athlete's career is how he performs under pressure.
The more we experience those pressure-packed moments, the better we are.
Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway as we get ready for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, setting the field for Saturday night's race. 500 miles in front of them, but first, where will they line up? That's the big question. We take a look at the chase grid through the round of 16. 12 drivers advance, still with the opportunity to win a championship. A couple drivers absolutely separating themselves as far as championship contenders and maybe even favorites. Lord One alongside Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton, I'm Rick Allen. After first practice, we saw urgency. Drivers thinking the weather might play into this, but we also have urgency in the fact that the last race of this round is Talladega. So how important is it to do well in this qualifying session to get yourself prepared for Saturday night's race?
Well, the start of this race is going to be really important because of what you just mentioned. Talladega is a few weeks away, and everybody's nervous about having to go to Talladega and make a good finish. But so it all starts with qualifying. But the other thing about qualifying here is that all the drivers and all the teams know that there's a lot of speed out on the racetrack right now, and there's a lot of pride in being able to go out and pick up a tremendous amount from what you ran in practice. So, you know, there is without a doubt an important part of where you qualify, but also it's just a lot about pride and wanting to be the pole sitter at this race.
And there are nerves in the garage. You mentioned Talladega. I really believe that this week and next week at Kansas are their two most important races other than perhaps the championship run at Miami. A win in either of these races allows a team, allows a driver to not need to run well, to not need to finish Talladega. Talladega is a racetrack that everyone doesn't want to lean on because you're dependent on other race cars. You have to be in a pack. You have to lean on people that you're racing against. Drivers are uncomfortable with that. How do you prevent that? You win in one of the first two races.
And of course, we're getting ready to see incredible speeds here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, over 200 miles an hour entering turn number 1. That's coming up next. And welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. The cars getting grid on pace. We're on pit road, getting ready for qualifying to get underway. But first, let's go to pre-race ceremonies. Trackside.
At this time, we ask you please rise and remove your hats as the University of North Carolina at Charlotte Air Force ROTC Detachment Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Monty Sell from Motor Racing Outreach offers our invocation.
Heavenly Father, we're thankful that we do live in a country that we're free to each weekend to participate in events like this. Lord, we're thankful for the colors that represent the freedoms that we do share in this great land. And tonight, Father, as we begin the weekend's activities, we're thankful for all the men and women who have worked hard to make this weekend event possible. We're thankful for all the sponsors. And Father, we pray tonight and throughout the weekend, Lord, that you would extend your hand of protection, Lord, to keep all the spectators and competitors safe. In Christ's name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome 12-year-old up-and-coming country artist from Kings Mountain, North Carolina, with a newly released single, Dream With Me, managed by Hudson Media Concepts, Jaden Huffman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the
Qualifying always a big spectacle at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 12 racers, all with a chance for the championship. The pressure getting higher and higher every race. Watch the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with the NBC Sports app and get closer with additional camera angles, driver stats, track information. You can watch live anywhere on any device. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. Let's hear from some of the drivers. We go down to the garage and Parker Kligerman.
Down here of Joey Logano. Joey, this is one of my favorite qualifying sessions of the year because it gets dark, it's cold, and that means grip. What do you expect from this 22 car?
Yeah, hang on tight is what that means. It's a lot of fun. It's such a guessing game as we practice in the heat of the day, and now the sun's down and grip's going to be up and sparks are going to be flying underneath the car. So it's a lot of fun for everyone to watch, and it's crazy from inside the cars. You just got to put it down before your brain tells you to put it down, the throttle, I mean. So I think our Pennzoil 4's got some speed in it. It was pretty good in practice, and I think we got a shot at it here.
You mentioned that added grip. How do you rise that grip level when you haven't experienced it yet? You know that it's gained more grip, but how do you as a driver go out there and just find that grip and actually get the speed out of the car?
That's a good question. Just go till something starts slipping and then adjust. That's all you can really do. You know how it is. It's just, you know, you don't have the practice laps to get a feel for it. You have to go 110% right off the bat.
Joey Logano's looking to go out there and put this car near the pole, 110%. Mike?
And Martin Truex Jr. has been well above 100%, it would seem, over the course of this chase so far. The round of 16, won 2 races. You know, we think back to a year ago, you were labeled as Cinderella. Now you're labeled as the favorite. What's that like for you?
It's a little bit different for sure, but I think, you know, as a race team, our goals and our approach is still the same. It's to go out every week and do the best job we can do. So lately it's gone really well. I think that we've got some good tracks coming up, but it's no guarantee, so we got to work hard and stay focused.
No question, this is one of those good tracks, especially when we consider what you did here in May. Dominated the race from the pole. Can you do it again?
First, we got to get the pole. We'll see if we can do that here tonight, and then who knows what we can do. So that was a while ago. A lot has changed. This racetrack's difficult. I thought we had a pretty good practice, and we'll see here in a minute if we guess right on the racetrack.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Martin Truex Jr. has been nothing short of dominant here so far in the chase, Rick. He expects to continue that on here this weekend.
And he knows all about dominating Charlotte as he led 392 of the 400 laps in May. We'll see laps right after this.
I would say we definitely are a lot more confident team. You know, a big part of that is just the speed we've shown all season long.
No black cloud tonight for Martin Truex Jr. as he scores the biggest victory of his career.
Martin Truex Jr. will win the Southern 500.
Yeah, baby, Southern 500.
Bring it to the line, my chase winner.
Hell yeah!
He has dominated round number 1, and he's dominated at Dover. He'll win again. And he was able to dominate in May, leading 392 of the 400 laps. If there's anyone that could potentially beat Martin Truex Jr. It might be somebody that he's in alliance with. Let's go down to Parker.
Actually,
sorry, Mike.
And I think you're right, though, Rick. An alliance with Toyota for sure. Joe Gibbs Racing has been strong throughout the course of the year. Carl Edwards, a member of that group. 6 poles already on the season. Will you be able to add to that total tonight?
We've got a pretty fast Stanley Camry, so hopefully we can. And you know, this is like we were talking about before we went on camera. This is an exciting time of year. I mean, you got to go, and competition's tough. It'd be great to start off with a pole here and you know, and turn that into a victory at Charlotte. But I want to say I'm thinking of the Laxton family. Dwight Laxton and I won a ton of races together, and we lost him the other night. A good man. So Wanda, we're thinking about you. Hopefully we can have a good run for you guys this weekend.
As if Carl Edwards needed any additional motivation, he certainly has it as the first phase of the round of 12 begins in just moments, Rick.
Yeah, surprisingly, there are a lot of cars still in the garage, still trying to get through tech and get out onto the grid.
This is not new, Rick. We've seen this a couple weeks ago. We saw it at Chicago. There were some cars a little late to qualifying, and NASCAR in Chicago said that their equipment had worked and had worked as it is supposed to, and that basically there were too many teams going around. So we'll have to try to get a report from one of our reporters down there. Maybe they can ask NASCAR to see whether they just feel this is too many times around or what the situation is, because there's some big cars down there. We look, the 78s down there. That's the 2 right there we see on the screen. Looks like about 10 cars and maybe 2 or 3 chasers involved.
I want to take a look at the rules for tonight's group qualifying. Round 1, 24 will advance into round 2. They have 20 minutes to go out on the track. They can make as many laps as they want in that 20-minute time limit, and once they're in the top 24, they will advance to round 2. Then in round 2, the 12 fastest will advance to round 3. Only 10 minutes of track time. And finally, round 3, 5 minutes, and that will set the final 12 positions and the pole.
And Rick, you heard Joey Logano say you have to find speed. You know there's grip out there. How do you find speed? What did he say, Jeff? Drive it in until it slips and adjust. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Maybe that's why I was never a driver, but somehow you're going to have to find a few tenths of a second.
And that's where it's nice if you can sit here and wait for just a minute and let some other guys go and understand what the pace of the track is, so that you don't overdrive it or underdrive it. You get a good idea what the pace is, how much more speed the track has and what it has in practice. We've been surprised a few times, Steve, where the track actually had a little less speed. I find that hard to believe that that's going to happen tonight, but it has happened a few times.
So a number we saw earlier was Kevin Harvick. He set the fastest speed in practice, and that speed was over 193 miles an hour. The time was 27.870 seconds, around this mile and a half.
And we're going to see the 7 car running the top of 3 and 4 coming to the green, just trying to get that thing wound up. Jeff, try to get the momentum with the grip in the racetrack. He doesn't have to run the bottom. We'll see how it grips, though, down here in turns 1 and 2. See if we see any sparks over these bumps.
This is where he's wide open to the throttle by now. He's going down the back straightaway. Now he understands the grip he has compared to what he had in practice. Now he has to adjust to that into turn 3, understand how much harder or less hard he can drive the car from practice.
Seems like he's a little off the bottom, both ends of the racetrack. He had run a 29.26 in practice.
28.59. I would say there's a little speed in the track.
Well, that's about 0.7 of a second faster than practice. What you don't know, though, is as Casey Mears runs a 28.39 behind him, did the 7 improve their car? What did they struggle with in practice?
De Benedetto goes 28.148 for the fastest lap thus far. Mike.
Rick, as we sit down here in inspection, you can see there are a number of chasers still yet to be certified to go out on the racetrack here for qualifying. Among them, you can see Matt Kenseth, his car is going through here as well. Chase Elliott's car has not been certified. Beyond that, just in the garage, there are other cars that are still working to get in compliance. That would be the 78 of Martin Truex Jr., also the 2 of Brad Keselowski. So a lot of chasers still trying to get their cars certified so they can roll out here for the beginning of round 1 of qualifying.
Steve, why do you cut it so close? Why are they trying to go right up against the tolerances?
Well, because there's grip. The reason there are rules is because there needs to be a limitation on what NASCAR will allow you to do, and all of those limitations are there for a reason, and the reason are it's an advantage. It's like basketball. They only give you so many steps because traveling has to exist, or you can run up down the court with the ball. Well, in racing, the tolerances can be confusing because it's where the tires are set, how much the car weighs, what shape the body is. But the simple fact is this garage area is full of smart engineers taking advantage of every one of them. If the rule is 1 inch, you need to be .99999. You can't be over, but you can't be under by 20 or 30% and think you're going to go compete at this level and try to win the pole.
And as long as a lot of cars don't have problems, you still have time to get through tech. So you go through once, right? Then you go back through, and as long as you don't have 20 cars with the same problem, you're still going to get to go back out. So you try to push every single thing to the limit. Worst case scenario, you got to go around once, you fix it, and you go qualify.
Well, the problem is when 25 guys have to go around.
That's right.
Because now we went from 40 cars to be inspected to 65 cars inspected. And then you get 10 more to go around a third time, and now you're 75 cars to be inspected. NASCAR doesn't build in that. They have been clear that this is how much time is built into the schedule. Everybody's going to have a shot. If you go back around because you fail, that's not on NASCAR. They have made that statement that if they feel their equipment is operating correctly, it's not their problem. And I like that, Rick. Stand by it. That's the only way these teams are going to feel any sort of wrath from being so close to the edge.
A lot of them are right there at the edge as we see the sparks flying from underneath Cole Witt's number 98. Cole Witt, the 25-year-old out of Alpine, California.
You see right now rolling on the racetrack, Alex Bowman. A little surprised to see these guys going out so early. They were second fastest in practice. I think this track will only get faster. So I think the thought is go early. They're fast enough. If you like to move into the first 24, into the fastest 24, go early. Sit as long as you can. Let your tires cool as much as you can. That's their strategy right now.
Yeah, and this 88 is going to show us instantly what this track has for speed. As you see, he's easily running faster than
DiBenedetto.
Yeah, I was actually looking down to see what he ran at practice here at a 27.99. So about a 28 flat. It looks like he's trending a little quicker than that, maybe a 27.90, 27.80. It's gaining a lot right here, though, maybe even a 27.70.
Great lap by Alex Bowman, 27.81.
Yeah, I don't know if that is a great lap, Steve. Rick, I don't know. I mean, we've seen a lot of cars pick up a great deal, and we did not see him pick up much.
But it only has to be in the top 24.
That's right.
And he was second. I think he had a lot to give.
78 of Martin Truex Jr.'s rolled out from inside of the garage area. We're looking at the 95 of Michael McDowell, new crew chief for that team this week.
Todd Parrott heading over there. Help this 95 team out. Good lap for Michael McDowell, 28.18. Fourth out of 7 cars so far.
And again, only 7 cars have been on the track under 5 minutes, or over 5 minutes now has gone off the clock.
And now Danica here is going to try to help establish what we think we need to run. Danica hovered right around that 21st position the whole time in practice. Big moment right there, though. Got up the racetrack. She was able to stay in the throttle. So this might establish, in my mind, what about the mid-20s is going to be if you look at her practice times.
Danica and her team, they need something good to happen. It's not been a good summer for them. They've not rolled these last few races with much speed, much positive going on. They need something good to happen. She's second at a flat.
28 flat for Danica Patrick. As we're now looking at Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
He has a good lap going. You mentioned that lap by the 88. I still think it's enough to get through, but it is not going to be in the top 5 or 6. I believe it's going to be maybe 10th, 12th, 15th when we get some faster cars on the racetrack, because A.J. Allmendinger right here is going to prove it. He's going to go to the top of the chart. A.J. was 7th in practice, and he currently just ran a 27.79 to be the top of the chart.
Austin Dillon in the 3. Now on the clock. Austin Dillon, one of the first-time chasers. In 2016, Austin has the yellow spoiler, yellow splitter, and the yellow band across the windshield indicating chase driver. Kyle was there a week ago. This is Kyle Larson in the 42.
He does not have a great lap going, Rick. This lap by Kyle Larson has me concerned that he's not going to have enough speed. 7th. I'm not sure 28.12 is going to guarantee him in the top 24.
I don't think it is. I think they're going to have to start looking right now and having to run again.
Kyle Larson went 28.09 in practice earlier, as we see Kenseth having to go through the laser one more time.
And now you're getting to the point where 12 minutes, now you see the crew members, they don't look as calm, they don't look as relaxed. Crew chief right there, Jason Ratcliffe, coming over to look at the numbers himself. It's starting to get a little more pressure packed for this 20 team. If they fail this one time with 12 minutes, I'm not sure they have time to go around.
A lot of sparks out from underneath the 11 of Denny Hamlin. And Hamlin in the red. not as quick as what A.J. Allmendinger has run.
He doesn't have to need to be as quick as Allmendinger yet, although he gets off turn 4 really well. This will be a nice solid lap, easily in the top 24. Mission accomplished, currently 4th.
5 drivers have broken 28 seconds in this qualifying session, and in the green for a moment there was Tony Stewart.
Harden trending the right way down the back straightaway.
Compare this to earlier. Look how much more aggressive he can be. I mean, hard back to the throttle. We didn't hear anything like that in 3 and 4 in practice. There was a lot of patience back to the throttle. Look how fast the 4 is.
Harden for 72. That is about a 1/10.5 quicker than what he ran in practice.
Truex only 8th quick. 27.97. I believe that'll be enough. But as you said, that's the nerve-wracking position to be in.
Other cars coming out of the garage. The 24 of Chase Elliott. They just finished inspection. Trevor Bayne in the 6. He's 0.4 of a second off first, but once again, we haven't even had 24 cars on the track yet. That will be the cut line. Drivers working to get into the top 24 so that they can advance to round 2. And as you mentioned earlier, the later in this qualifying run that they can go out on the track, the cooler it's going to be. Sun has been down for quite some time now. Temperatures continue to go down as Kurt Busch trying to find a little speed. Kurt Busch on the clock and in the green until he entered turn number 1 and then fell back out of green into the red.
Yeah, it like came to the line really well, like he got off of turn 4 real well and drove into turn 1 with good speed. Should hold it through 1 and 2.
Yeah, you see on the left side of the screen the 20 of Matt Kenseth that's past the laser. They're making the final adjustments to go up directly onto the racetrack.
Under 10 minutes to go, past the halfway point of this first round. Carl Edwards on the track.
And with a lot of fast cars to go, I have some concern for Larson, Keselowski, Biffle, 15th, 16th, and 17th. I'm not sure they have enough speed. They only have 9 cars between them and the cut line. You see Edwards on the track sparking pretty good off the right side skirt, but trending right around a 27.70. I think he's going to easily go better than Keselowski. And there are still at least, I'm thinking, 6 or 7 drivers that can beat the 12 or the 2 of Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I think Brad's going to be right on that edge of making it. He'll have a tough decision to make whether to make a second run or not. He's not going to want to make a second run because I think that'll be a disadvantage, but he may not have a choice.
Yeah, because as these cars get bumped out, Boyer now below the cut line. If Almirola gets bumped out, Buescher, Scott, can they go out now that they know how much grip is in the racetrack? They're not guessing the grip level anymore. Can they find the speed? Now we're on board with Joey Logano. You heard earlier, go until it slips and adjusts. Well, he's adjusted well. Carries a ton of speed off turn 2. I think he's going to get by Almirola, currently trending in the green. We'll see if he can keep the speed up through 3 and 4.
But I'm a little surprised we're talking about Logano. Can he beat Almirola in 24th? I mean, they can't be happy with this run. I don't know if this is going to be enough to safely lock them in.
No,
it's
no
not.
way it is.
No, it's not even close.
Logano 24th on that 1 lap.
This is the start of the second round. These teams that are struggling right now, this is cause for concern. Jimmy Johnson 17th, Logano 25th, Keselowski 16th.
Not very good. 17th.
He said it, not very good. We got Matt Kenseth hadn't even made a lap yet because of not going through tech. So
Chase Elliott's yet to be on the racetrack.
I mean, the stress level is getting higher by the second.
So important that the Chase drivers especially have a great showing at Charlotte and Kansas, because Talladega is looming at the end of round 2.
Well,
round of 12.
We talked about how difficult this qualifying session is. Danica Patrick currently 11th. Great run by Danica Patrick. 21st in practice, makes the right adjustments, does a great job of adapting to the racetrack, drove the car to the limit. She's on to the second round of qualifying.
Chase Elliott can move himself forward.
Look at those hands, Jeff. They're busy.
Yes, they are. Good turns 1 and 2, but not as good as we had thought. He is a little quicker than Brian Scott in 24th.
You give up a lot of time down here, Rick. Oh, get back to the gas. Little hesitation, though. I think it's going to be enough, though, as he carries speed off 3 and 4. Look how, even at that speed, though, doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, 0.2 of a second better. So all the way up to 11th for Chase Elliott. That drops Danica Patrick down to 12th. Trevor Bayne now on the cut line.
And look, it just moved Keselowski and Johnson just one more step closer to the 24th position. And that 24th position is Brian Scott, where the cut line is.
And I'm looking at those names. Logano, he's going to go again, and I think they find the speed. I think they pick up speed. Matt Kenseth, we see here driving out of the garage area. I feel he's going to be in the top 24. So that means Bayne, McDowell, DiBenedetto, they're going to be right at, if not below, the cut line.
It's like these cars are coming out of the locker room, and they've already played a quarter. And all of a sudden, you've got somebody coming out, and it feels like there's a little intensity to go out and put together a good lap.
Yeah, and I always thought this was very difficult. The car did not go through tech. You're late. You're out of sequence. You got your mind kind of, messed up a little bit because is my car going to get through tech? Are we going to have time to make a qualifying run? All those things are going through your head. Now you got to get in the race car and go lay a lap time down with only 6 minutes to go. I always found this to be very challenging. I wasn't a good qualifier. This made it that much harder for me.
Really, it could be one and done, too, because they won't have enough time to come in, cool it back down to where they could go out and do a better lap.
A simple bobble. He enters turn 1 right here at over 200 miles an hour, trying to judge the grip level, trying to judge the bump. What angle of entry does he take here? If this thing bounces up the racetrack, he can miss this next round.
It's nice and smooth. Came off the bottom a little bit, but he was in the throttle, so he's fine right now. He knows how the car drives. Had to feel pretty decent, right? By his time, now have a clean 3 and 4, and he'll be fine.
Off the racetrack just a bit there, out of 4.
He feels it. You can tell he feels it. That should be fine, he said, and it is.
8th for Matt Kenseth. Dave.
Logano not in, though, still below the cut line there, and he is going to get ready to go make another run to try to make it into round 2. It's usually one of two things, guys. Too free and you can't control it, or too tight and you can't turn it. It was the latter. The car would not turn in the corner for Joey.
That's hard on speed. As uncomfortable as free is, Jeff, when the front tires don't work and the car's tight, it's very hard for the driver to find much speed. You can only drive to the limit of the front tires.
Yeah, tight's a very difficult situation. You'd rather be a little bit tight than a little bit loose, but, well, I would rather be a little bit tight than a little bit loose, but a lot tight is just nothing you can do. Turning the wheels, the car's not going the direction you need it to go in. That makes you wait on the throttle. That makes the car not be in the position it needs to be in. Nothing goes good when the car is too tight.
And remember, the driver of the 22 swept this round a year ago. 1 at Charlotte, 1 at Kansas, 1 at Talladega.
And Jeff, you talked about it. It's the round of 12. It's trying to step up, to get better, to find more speed. Yet we see the chase drivers scattered through the field. Kevin Harvick, a dominant lap time, sitting at first. A handful of guys in the top 10, but then look at Keselowski, Johnson. While they have moved forward and maybe they're playing a great game, I'm not planning on, and they're going to have tires left, and they're going to chase up for the pole. I don't see that. And currently Logano being below, I'm really surprised at the lack of speed through the entire chase field. There are some that are fast, but I really expected to see 8, 9, 10 of the top 10 being chase drivers.
Pulling out some of the information that Joey Logano was looking at, preparing to go out for one more run.
We have the 27 of Paul Menard. He's just now getting through inspection, so I believe that's the last car in the garage area, so he should be able to come out and make an attempt. That'll make all 40 cars have an attempt.
So if he runs a good lap, that can move Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson a step further down. And also, we're starting to see people make those second runs. So right now, the 34 car, Chris Buescher, he just left the race, just left pit road, coming to get the green. Everybody on pit road is watching Chris Buescher right now. If he can pick up a little speed, then that's indicative that the tires can go faster the second time, and it'll force the hand for Keselowski and Johnson.
Logano at the end of pit road waiting. We'll be going out here shortly as soon as the track clears, or there's an opening, but traffic beginning to build up on pit road now, so it might not be a clean racetrack as Joey Logano decides it's time he needs to go.
And Chris Buescher had a nice 1 and 2. He's still right on the green line. David Reagan, a solid 10th below the line at the middle of the backstretch. I believe these cars are going to go faster now that they know the grip level. This is going to really spin out everyone on pit road.
Buescher is going to be close. 24th.
A lot of speed, though. Buescher goes 24th. Reagan
did not have
off the pace.
Yeah, didn't have a good 3 and 4. Rick had a great 1 and 2, but just wasn't enough. We see Menard currently trending back the right way. Will it continue? He needs about 4 100ths. 27th.
Paul Menard, 27th. And now Logano. He will take the green flag on his run.
I can't remember the last time Joe Logano had to run twice in the first round.
So now if you're Keselowski and Johnson, I think you sit tight. I think you feel like you're okay. You haven't seen people pick up a lot of speed. I believe you're going to have to sit tight and not run another run.
Trending in the green and going the right direction as he goes into 3.
A lot of cars on track, though. It's hard to sit tight. If these 3 cars all put it together, Larson for sure, I think needs to be on the end of pit road having a plan to run.
Logano comfortably in the top 24. He's 11.
Michael McDowell, he's got to get the throttle down.
He did it.
He did a nice job being patient, letting the thing run the bottom. That's going to eliminate. That puts Larson on the bubble.
Johnson in 22nd.
And there are a lot of cars on the racetrack, Jeff.
Can you sit tight with 1:20 left?
Eric Almirola on the clock in the red. Landon Castle, he shuts it down. Realizes it wasn't going to work. Landon Castle, the only one on the clock right now.
Heading the right way. Will it turn the middle of the corner? It won't. Landon Castle goes the wrong way in the middle of the corner, but Brian Scott has a chance. It looks like he drove in pretty deep. Too deep, I think. I think it's leaving the bottom. It's going to start hurting time.
Looks tight here.
So the difficult decision right here. That's what these guys are doing. They're sitting here waiting. They need to be ready to roll. But right now, the decision's made for them. With only 35 seconds left, they're not going to go. They don't have enough time to go. So.
Right.
And Matt DiBenedetto could be the guy. He could cut Kyle Larson out of the top 24 right here with this lap. He's up the racetrack. Will he have enough speed to eliminate the 42?
Kyle Larson's rolling. Kyle Larson's rolling.
He's
right
out of
now.
time.
Yeah,
He's out of time. 18 seconds left. He'll never get back around. The field is set. Kyle Larson got caught sitting on pit road. He won't make the green, and for that reason, he will not make the second round.
How about that? Greg Biffle advances from the 24th position with a 28.103. Kevin Harvick was fastest in that first round of qualifying. And all 12 of the Chase drivers will advance into round 2. We'll hear from some of the drivers when we come back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Qualifying underway at the 1.5 miles. Drivers not advancing out of round 1. At the top of that list, Kyle Larson. It's been a little bit of a struggle here since not advancing into the round of 12. All the way back to Josh Wise. Those will be 25 through 40 starting positions. Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And Rick, as you mentioned, Kyle Larson just missed the cut to round 2 here in qualifying. What were you dealing with?
Well, I don't know. I don't think we expected the 83, I think it was, who bumped us out there. So we were just kind of waiting, then we ended up just waiting too long. So we didn't get another shot at it. So, you know, it's a bummer that we didn't get to go out there and make a better lap. I definitely think we would have ran a little bit faster to transfer in, and you know, probably would have ended up, you know, probably wouldn't have made the final round, but wouldn't have been 24th or 5th, whatever. But so Target Chevy was fine today in practice, so we should be all right in the race. I'm kind of actually hoping we get some rain so we can race when the sun's out on Sunday, and I seem to do good when the sun's out here, so looking for some rain.
Why do you feel like you'd be better in the sun?
The track just gets slick, and you can kind of move around, run the top, and stuff like that. And whenever the sun goes down here, it goes from a great racetrack to a single file racetrack. So fingers are crossed for some weather.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
There's going to be weather. Whether or not it comes on Saturday is still anybody's guess.
I don't disagree with Kyle Larson. There's very few in the garage can run the top as well as Kyle Larson. A hot, slick Charlotte, the top seems to be the preferred group.
And so Kyle Larson may be doing a rain dance here to have that opportunity. Get your NASCAR coverage when you're on the go with NASCAR Mobile, the official app of NASCAR with race coverage and live in-car cameras right at your fingertips. You can listen to drivers and teams discuss race strategy. Download now at NASCAR.com/mobile. Got ready to get underway with round number 2. Take a look at how the Chase drivers did in round 1. Kevin Harvick was the fastest all the way down to Jimmy Johnson, who was 23rd quickest. but still advancing into the second round. Now only 10 minutes the drivers will have to try to break into the top 12. All times were reset. So of the 24, the 12 fastest advance into round 3.
This guy's going right out on the track. Nobody's waiting right now. Sooner they can get back in, the sooner their tires can get cooled down, potentially have colder tires going into the last round.
Alex Bowman showed great speed in practice earlier today. See if he can back up what he was able to run in the first round.
Is anyone surprised? He's been, every time he sat in this race car, he's gone fast. He's done a really good job, has speed.
They continue to keep the Earnhardt Jr. banner across the top of the windshield, saying it's still Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. We're just filling in.
I don't know if that's fast or not, but it sure looked fast.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, it went right. This is like it goes wherever he wants it to go. Then the gas. Car's not moving around. Not a lot of wheel movement.
Across the stripe, Bowman, 27.52. That is fast.
Yeah, there's a reason it looked fast.
Say that's fast.
That should guarantee him a top 12 position, since no one had run that fast yet in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Kurt Busch is over a half a second off. That tells you how fast the 88 of Bowman went.
That would not be enough to get in the top 12.
Top 3 right now, all non-chasers. Alex Bowman, A.J. Allmendinger, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. posting good laps. Kurt Busch on the wrong side of the 28-second mark. Ryan Blaney on the track, and he's also in the red compared to Alex Bowman's lap.
Well, surprisingly for the 21, Ryan Blaney, he has a car about 10 car lengths in front of him right here. You see going through 3 and 4. That's not where you want to be. That is hurting the speed of the 21 car. He runs at 27.87, but that is, I mean, with 10 minutes, I would be a little frustrated to have a car pull out that close in front of me.
Talk about that lap of Bowman. He beat Kevin Harvick, who was the fastest in the first session, beat Kevin Harvick by 1/10 of a second.
27.63 for Harvick. All the chase drivers.
Well, how about Danica Patrick? This is going to be a great lap for the 10. She has found some speed from practice.
Patrick, 27.81.
Good job.
Great lap.
Right now.
We talked about they need something positive to happen, and so far this qualifying, things have gone well.
Casey Kane, another Hendrick Motorsports driver.
I know the speeds are only a couple miles an hour faster than what we just saw in the first round, but between the lights coming on and the sky getting darker, they look like they're going 20 miles an hour through the middle of the corner faster. It's unbelievable to watch these cars. Hendrick Motorsports has really found some pace. Casey Kane up to third, first and third currently.
Hopefully that speaks volumes for the 48. At least that's what Chad Canals is hoping.
Yeah, Chase Elliott in the 24. They're 2 chase contenders. If anyone's going to have speed, they're going to want those 2 to have speed, although Martin Truex Jr. has proven he has it as well.
Truex Jr. just about 1/10 of a second off.
Look how fast these cars are.
Again, over 200 miles an hour entering turn number 1. That time Truex Jr. goes 27.70. Average right now, Alex Bowman, 100.2 miles an hour average around this 1.5 miles.
Keselowski only to 11th. Now down to 12th. Newman just moved him down to 12th. So Keselowski is down to 13th now after Jimmy Johnson moved into 6th.
Johnson finding speed as well, 27.80. Speed picking up, sparks flying.
Oh,
a lot more travel out of these cars now.
Right there was a wiggle off the white line in 1 and 2. That's uncomfortable at these speeds.
Yeah, when you're committed to the throttle at these speeds, you just got to go back to it and hope it sticks. And when Carl Edwards went back to the throttle, it didn't. Big bobble, but it didn't hurt him too bad, Steve. He kept his momentum up.
He did.
It's going to be close. I think this will be safe, but it's going to be close. Yeah, 6th.
6th. Already 2 chase drivers outside the top 12. Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin 5th on his lap.
You see behind McMurray is Tony Stewart. I don't think McMurray knows he's back there. He's going to be right in Tony Stewart's way right there. The 14 was coming. That was his timed lap. But he pulled out behind the one of Jamie McMurray. That's Tony Stewart's fault, not Jamie McMurray's.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray did nothing wrong right there. Spotter did nothing wrong. It's all on the spotters. The spotters are the ones that are telling them when to go, and the 14 is going to be forced to go again.
Simple mistakes. Those are just unacceptable. We're almost 30 races into the season. This group qualifying isn't new. That happened the first few rounds. But now they have got to understand the rhythm. There's no way you should be put out on the racetrack behind another car.
Imagine Logano and his team. Kyle Busch just went to 8th, Logano to 7th. We've seen this with Logano and his team so far in this chase. They don't always have speed, but when it comes time, they find a way. Think about the race in New Hampshire. They got a lap down, they ran poorly, still found a way to grind a decent finish out, and that's what they've done in this qualifying session as well.
We know at least 2 Chase drivers are not going to advance into the final round. Alex Bowman and Casey Kane have put up some phenomenal numbers. So they're going to take 2 spots in this top 12 that Chase drivers would have wanted.
And how about who Matt Kenseth is trying to beat to get into the top 12? Greg Biffle in a Roush Fenway car with a good run. Kenseth way up the racetrack. Yeah. That's not going to work out.
Half a second off for Matt Kenseth.
He said it was on the splitter too hard that lap. He didn't like it.
There you have it. That's why he got up the racetrack in 3 and 4. Just couldn't hold the bottom. Splitter hidden. Front tires don't hook up. Chase Elliott with a good run. Going to move Biffle down. Chase Elliott to 3rd.
Look at the speed they're trying to run, Jeff. You talked about it. When the speeds pick up, you have to have the clearance built in after practice. The 20 didn't have it.
3.5 minutes left. We saw Stewart get blocked. He's got to get his car cooled down. Is he going to have enough time to get it cooled down and make another run?
Yeah, so the 1 was on the racetrack. He was at speed. And the 14 left pit road. So this is the 1 taking the checkered flag. Well, he's done. He doesn't expect somebody to be right behind him. The 14 of Tony Stewart is on his time lap, but I know Jamie McMurray probably could have gone on the apron, but the point is Tony Stewart should have never been on the racetrack 20 car lengths behind a car finishing his lap. That is just, I mean, look, there's still 2.5 minutes. Sit on pit road. Wait for a clear spot.
Yeah, you're Jamie McMurray. It's not your responsibility to look in the mirror. You know, it's not your, when you're qualifying, you're out there, you're assuming by yourself. You're not supposed to look in the mirror. So that's, now the spotter could have said, hey, you know, when he took the start finish line, he could have said, hurry, 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 to try not to block Stewart.
Right.
But
Danica Patrick, I thought that 27.81 was more than safe. Micah McDowell is trying not to make it safe. This is a great run for this 95. As you mentioned, new crew chief Rick Todd Parrott's come over.
Todd Parrott lit the wig, didn't he? Good job. 19th. No, I'm sorry. Where do you know?
Yep,
19th. 19th. I'm sorry.
Still 2 drivers to go out and take time. Matt DiBenedetto 1 and Tony Stewart the other. Kurt Busch is going to try again. He's 21st quickest. He's got to go back out if he wants to break into the top 12.
Do you guys feel like this is a really important qualifying session for Kurt Busch? We've seen them not perform in these first 3 races the way you would expect. And they just got to find something. They got to find some speed. I think they need a little bit of ignition, a little bit of a spark to get things going in the right way. They did a good job of advancing. They did it using their heads. They did not do it with speed. So I just feel like this team right now needs something good. Like we talked about with Danica, they need something good to give them something positive, but you're not going to get in this second run. You can see already he's up the racetrack.
And Jeff, Kurt knows he needs something good. So much, in fact, over that first run here in the round 2, he said to his crew chief, Tony Gibson, he said, look, I knew what I needed. I just was too aggressive. I went into turn 1 so hard, I just went right up the hill, trying to be a little bit smoother this run.
Didn't work out for him. Kurt Busch's lap a half a second slower than when he ran the first time out.
Steve, you mentioned Tony Stewart and the mistake that they made getting out too early. It looks like right now he's going the right way. Now it's going the wrong way. So can it hold on?
Going to be close for Stewart. He gets in 11th quickest. That puts Jimmy Johnson right on the bubble. 50 seconds left in this round.
And remember, I know he didn't make a whole lap, but he did leave pit road, went through 3 and 4 as hard as he could, drove into 1 as hard as he could. That's another 1.5 corners that he had on his tires versus everybody else that had to go run again.
And now, because the 42, we saw what happened to him not being on the racetrack. There's a bunch of cars on the racetrack trying to get around and get the green flag in time, Rick.
Dillon's on the clock right now. Saw Brad Keselowski go out onto the track. He's going to try to make another run.
Yeah, the more cars on the racetrack, the harder it is to go fast. I know it sounds crazy, but a car, 20 car lengths in front of you, 30 car lengths in front of you hurts the way your car drives.
So the car's coming up now with 3 seconds left. It's going to be close for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. if his lap will count.
Well, he was finishing a lap, so I don't think he's going to run another one.
Kenseth finishing up his lap. He's not fast enough. He's 17th quickest.
It's really Jimmy Johnson who's competing against himself. He knows now that he doesn't need this lap, and he'll lift off turn 4, but he had no choice. With that many cars on the racetrack, he had to be on the racetrack. You heard checking out time. All right, try to get your tires, cool them down the best you can, but a good decision by the 48. The 42, you heard Kyle Larson say, he thought he could have went faster. Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, Earl Barber on top of the roof, the spotter, doing a good job of keeping their driver in the mix.
4 Chase drivers don't advance into the final round of qualifying. Alex Bowman fastest in that session. After the second round of qualifying, drivers that don't advance into the final round: Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, as well as Matt Kenseth, all on the outside of that top 12. Take a look at 13 through 24. Those positions now set. Chase drivers in yellow. Danica Patrick with a valiant effort to break into that top 12, just not able to get it with a 27.81. Let's go to Mike Massaro.
And Brad Keselowski now walking into the garage, just got out of his race car, completed round 2. What were you dealing with?
Yeah, we just lacking a little bit of speed and qualifying trim, but the race trim stuff we did today, I thought we were really, really fast. So that's encouraging, and you want to qualify and race good, but more importantly, you want to race good. I think we've got a great Worth Fusion to do just that.
How does the mindset change now from the round of 16 to the round of 12 for you?
Oh, God. It doesn't really to me. I just want to have some solid finishes and have a shot to win. We'll take it.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Mike.
We've already seen Brad come from mid-pack before at this racetrack to win, Rick. Back in 2013, he won from the 23rd starting position. Dave?
Austin Dillon came through 19th. What was missing in round 2, Austin?
We were just too tight. I was kind of worried about it as the first run. We were too tight, and we made a big swing at it there to free it up, and helped it in 3 and 4, just still too tight in 1 and 2. So we'll work on it. We had a good car in practice. Just missed our balance a little bit in this nighttime stuff. So we'll be fine. I'm really happy with our Kills Chevrolet. So we're going to be fine. We'll go up to there in the race.
All right, thanks, Austin. 19th for him.
He'll be fun to watch. Starting 19th, we'll see how far he can move up when the green flag flies Saturday night. We still have another round of qualifying. That's coming up next. Formula One racing, Japanese Grand Prix, live on NBCSN Saturday night, midnight Eastern. Nico Rosberg, he was able to extend his championship points lead in the last race. It's 23 points now over teammate Lewis Hamilton. Should be a great race. Again, that's Saturday night, midnight Eastern for the Grand Prix. We have one more round of qualifying to go, and it happens quickly. 5 minutes is all they will have. 12 drivers all fighting for the pole. We saw Alex Bowman go out there and post a 27.52. Can he back that up?
I think he can. I think the 88 looked good. We commented how the car had very little movement in it. I think he can, and more importantly, I think he must. Because I think Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Casey Kane, Martin Truex Jr., they have a plan all to go out here and try to find a little more speed.
Well, what a great battle between guys trying to win a championship and guys trying to make the year. If Alex Bowman could sit on the pole, that would be huge for him. Casey Kane, we talked about people needing to have something good happen. He's one of those guys. A.J. Allmendinger with a good run. So all those guys need something good to happen, and you have other guys trying to win a championship.
Crew chief, I have to ask you, Alex Bowman went out early in that second round, and we thought that the strategy would be give yourself as much time for those tires to cool off, but he's decided to be the first one on the track again.
Well, I don't think the track's going to change much in 5 minutes. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe he's ready. He's excited. This is his name to prove himself, to prove his name in this car. If he's ready, let him go.
We'll see how much confidence he has, and we'll see what the mark will be. He is on the clock now.
Just so smooth. That time he bottomed out a little bit. Car moved around just a touch, got up the racetrack. We'll have to see how much that hurts him. Maybe he tried to drive a little bit harder. Pole on the line, trying to push a little too hard.
I agree, Jeff. He missed the bottom of 1 and 2. Looked like he got to the bottom of 3 and 4, but how much did he slow the car down to get there?
So this is the mark everyone will be shooting for. Bowman 27:55, just off of what he was able to run in the second round. Allmendinger, another one of the non-chasers that had a great run the last round. 27:68 for Allmendinger. 82 for Logano.
Denny Hamlin coming to green. You saw him run that high line at 3 and 4. Steve, we talked about it, just trying to carry that momentum to the line, trying to carry as much speed in a turn one as you can.
Oh, you heard the hesitation with the throttle. He just couldn't commit.
He went to the throttle so quick that he had to ultimately come out of it. That's what this... He said he was on the splitter.
So fast around this racetrack. Denny Hamlin, third quickest, 27:81.
Kevin Harvick's making a run at it.
It's going to be close. Harvick to the top of the list, 27:54.
Good job, bud.
I love
Rodney never gets excited.
I was gonna say, I love Rodney's enthusiasm. That was Rodney showed us at his finest. That's a good job, bud.
I'll be jumping up and down, screaming. Rodney's good job.
Good job, bud. Carl Edwards, 6 poles already on the season. Doesn't look like he's going to grab another one here at Charlotte.
Well, he just took the green. He knows what it's going to take. The team's told him what the speed is. Saw the car bottom out right there.
It's up the racetrack, and you see that's where the speed was. He was trending green until it bottomed out, went up the racetrack.
We haven't seen a lot of speed out of Carl Edwards in practice or in this qualifying session. And now he's about a little over a tenth off as Martin Truex Jr. hovering right around half a tenth. Edwards goes fourth quickest.
Yeah, I mean, the problem these teams have now is this pole speed is so fast that I don't believe you can have a bobble in 1 and 2 and be able to make it up at the other end of the racetrack. I think you're really looking for perfect corners at both ends.
That Truex with the big wiggle in the middle of 3 and 4, but still 4.
Had the left side tires on the white line, not just at it, on it. And green entering turn 1 for Kyle Busch.
Tight. It just didn't get to the white line quite as clean as he wanted it to.
He's not far enough off, though, where he can't make it up. If he can have a clean 3 and 4, he's still in contention.
You heard it, though. Just it's too tight. He can't get back to the gas.
Under a minute to go.
How about Tony Stewart trending in the green? His final trip to Charlotte, heading into 3 and 4. Be a great story if Tony Stewart could do it.
All the way down on the whites, and he'll slip into the red. Tony Stewart, though, fourth quickest. Chase Elliott, third quickest, bumping Tony Stewart down to fifth. Jimmy Johnson now taking the green.
In the 5 of Casey Kane, he is just leaving pit road now. It's going to be very close to see if he'll get the green flag. He had trouble on his first attempt.
Pretty sure Jimmy Johnson, I'm pretty sure he got on the splitter too hard. You saw sparks flying from in front of that splitter as he turned into turn 1, never got to the bottom, got up the racetrack, just destroyed his speed in the middle of 1 and 2.
Casey Kane did take the green. You see him at the bottom trending in the green.
And across the stripe for Jimmy Johnson. He goes 11th quickest. Logano tried another lap. It didn't work. He stays 10th. Casey Kane further back in the red. He's not going to be able to improve. Kevin Harvick. An impressive performance by the 4 team.
The opening round of round 2, the first winner is Kevin Harvick.
And the bull is still, the bull tweet, he's still doing it. He's still attacking. That's his move.
That's right.
And he's doing it qualifying, race, every week.
He's been able to win. He won a race in round 1.
See if Rodney smiles. Let's see if we get a smile out of him.
Let's go to Dave.
Still thrilling to qualify here at Charlotte, and Kevin Harvick does it again. What was the difference in that lap?
Yeah, I just felt like I got to the green a little bit better. The car was too loose the time before, and I got to the green better that time, anticipating it, and got through 1 and 2 good. Felt like I gave up some in 3 and 4 coming to the checker. But all in all, just got to thank Bushbeard, Jimmy Johns, everybody on this team, Chevrolet, Hendrick Engines and Chassis for everything that they do, and everybody at Stewart-Haas. This has just been a fun car to drive today. Hopefully we can get it dialed in for race trim.
I was going to say, what does that tell you then about the rest of the weekend and the possibility of starting this round with a win?
Well, we struggled when we first rolled off the truck in race trim and got our car better and better, applied all that stuff to qualifying. So hopefully what we learned in qualifying, we can apply some of that stuff to the race trim stuff and go from there.
Kevin Harvick is #1 tonight at Charlotte, Mike.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't get much closer than that. Alex Bowman came that close to getting his first Sprint Cup Series pole. What was that run like for you?
You know, honestly, we didn't put the greatest lap together there in the final round. 1 and 2 got a little free in and didn't really keep it on the bottom like I needed to, or I wasn't able to commit to the throttle. But 3 and 4 was really good. Just got to thank Exalta and Hendrick Auto Group, Nationwide, everybody that's on this car. It means so much for Hendrick Motorsports to take a chance on me and to put me in it for these races, and just really thankful to be here. I hate that we didn't get the pole there. We were so close. You know, it's definitely my best starting spot by a bunch, but you'd always like that pole.
You got your best career finish just a few weeks ago at Chicagoland Speedway. How much confidence does that give you going into this race on Saturday night?
Definitely a lot. You know, anytime you come to the racetrack with Hendrick Motorsports, you obviously have a lot of confidence. But, man, we got great Hendrick horsepower under the hood. The engine shop put a really good piece in it, and it's a brand new race car. So really proud of the race car that we brought to the racetrack. Definitely unloaded a little bit off, but obviously we made huge gains in practice, and I think we got a shot at it on Saturday night or Sunday or whenever we're going to get this thing in.
I think everybody would agree. He definitely has a shot of it. He starts on the outside of row #1, Dave.
Mike heard Chase Elliott say when the lap was over, "Oh, I thought that was good enough to get it." Where would you say you lost it?
Well, I thought I lost it in 1 and 2, and then they said I lost it in 3 and 4. So I need to go back and look and watch. Obviously, I wasn't right on where I thought, but I don't know. Really proud nonetheless of this whole 3M group. Appreciate everybody's hard work, man. We've been working really hard to try to get better, and this has not been a very good place for me historically in qualifying, so or in the race for that matter, but definitely in qualifying. So I was really happy with that. Really proud this whole team is and should be with that lap. So we're excited for Saturday night, and hopefully we can better that.
I got to ask you, making multiple passes through tech inspection cost you some time there. You were hustling to get out here. What's it like to jump in with that amount of time getting ready?
It's kind of part of the game. I think these days we see it pretty frequently in this deal, and throughout, you know, Xfinity racing and now into this stuff this year. It's kind of just the battle you play and the game you got to fight to push these things to where they need to be. So I think that's kind of part of it. We still have plenty of time, which is good. So good starting spot, but it's just a starting spot. You have to also recognize that and try to go get them on Saturday night.
Solid team effort. Chase will start 3rd, Mike.
And Carl Edwards will roll off 8th, Dave. How'd you feel about that qualifying effort?
It's a really good race car to be 8th. I screwed up 1 and 2 a little bit, but man, that's fun. That's fast. I mean, you go out there and do everything you can. I was joking with you. I don't think anybody knew that we could go as fast as Bowman went in that 2nd round. That kind of raised the stakes for everyone, and that'll be a decent starting spot. We'll hopefully get a good pit stall out of that and go have a good race.
The stakes are higher here. We go into the round of 12 on Saturday night. You finished 10th in that first round of 16. You've talked about stepping it up. In what ways does your performance need to be better in this round?
Yeah, I think he stepped up the intensity, but yes, I misspoke. The stakes are very high, and you know, we've got to do everything that we know we can do. We got a fast pit crew. We've got the experience. You know, I have a good record here at this racetrack. Dave Rogers is amazing on the box, so we just put it all together. We'll have a good race.
Good luck. Not only on Saturday night, but also throughout the round of 12.
Hey, thank you.
Carl Edwards will roll off 8th, Rick. Dave.
It's okay, Mike. Kyle walking back to the garage area now. We made it to the final round. What was lacking for the 18 car?
Final round was the best it was, just overall speed, I guess. You know, the first couple runs we were a little loose, and then that last run we were probably 1 number tight, and that's about the balance you try to look for, so you can get aggressive with the steering wheel and be able to tug on that in order to get enough steer out of the car. But the rear was locked down pretty good, so not bad. Better than I actually expected to be today with our interstate batteries, all battery center Camry. So I think we got a pretty good race car. We practiced race trim here this morning. We made sure to get some of that in, given the weather for tomorrow. So you know, I feel pretty confident that we've got a good package, and we'll just see whether or not we feel like it's going to be a night race or a day race and judge our race adjustments based off of where we practice today.
Yeah, I know it's hard to predict the weather here, but how do you and Adam prepare for either scenario?
I don't know. That's a better question for Adam, really. But for me, honestly, I feel like it'll be a night race. So I think the weather will get out of here in time for all of us to get dry and for the race to be able to happen on Saturday night. So I think just normal Saturday night procedures is what we need to do.
And does that favor you, the night race?
I would like to think so. I think, you know, when we were here in the spring, we had a pretty good car in the All-Star race for sure. We were pretty fast there, had a shot to win until the driver sped on pit road and screwed that up. And here last year, you know, we were okay during the day race because it ran on Sunday. And so it just all kind of depends, you know, with what's kind of going on, where your setup's at, how the field stacks up. So with all those things, you know, you just try to throw your best ideas at it, and Adam's pretty good at that.
All right, and I'm sure Kyle will adapt. Guys?
You know, you're not supposed to be able to give yourself a nickname, but I think Kevin Harvick has adequately given his attitude, and we could now start calling him the Bull, because that's the way he said he's going to race. That's the way he's going to have his mood for the next 11 races, and his team celebrating because they just went out and bullied the rest of the crew. Local flavor when you visit North Carolina. Barbecue chicken, the great flavors and tastes of Charlotte, North Carolina. And, you know, this is a little odd to me. A chicken holding chicken? Is that, can you do that?
He's smiling.
Nope. Yeah, I guess he's okay. The thumbs up from the chicken in victory lane.
They told him to let him eat that big biscuit.
The big biscuit. Now, NASCAR racing from Charlotte tomorrow. It's an elimination race for the Xfinity Series. That coverage beginning at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. And then Saturday on NBC at 7 o'clock. Sprint Cup Series round of 12 begins. Let's go to Mike.
And Joey Logano, a top 10 qualifying effort, but there were some moments there in round one where we weren't too sure you were going to round two. What were you thinking at that point?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. Yeah, it turned the first run, just hit the splitter, and we had to make some adjustments to get off of that. Once we did that, boom, it came to life. And, you know, our Pennzoil Ford is fast. We had that extra run on our tires. How much did that hurt us? I don't know. You know, we got our car to where we were pretty good. I think we were 6th or 7th after the second round. And the driver tried to get more and maybe shouldn't have. But, you know, when you're sitting there 8th after the second round, you don't really have anything to lose. You just go for it. And I got down in turn 1 and pinned the throttle, went for it, and just started getting free and lost some speed that way. So a good recovery, but not exactly where we wanted to start, but we'll be fine. We'll be able to fight from there.
An excellent recovery, I might add, starting 10th after some questionable moments here in round one. So what do you feel like you have for a race car and race trim once the green flag flies on Saturday?
I think pretty good. It doesn't seem like we're going to get on the racetrack tomorrow with the way the weather is, so we made some extra laps in race trim as well as everybody else. And I thought my car drove really good in race trim, so I was excited about that. I had that feel that I need to have at Charlotte to go fast, so I was excited about that. You know, we got 500 miles to pass 9 cars, so we'll just try to pick them off one at a time and be there at the end and try to get a win here again. This is one of our best racetracks, and like I said, we have a fast race car again, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Definitely one of his best racetracks. In fact, this round has been pretty good for him too, Rick. You remember last year? He won all 3 races in this round.
Yeah, and every driver we've talked to continues to reference the weather. We absolutely don't want to make light of the fact that, you know, we're worried about getting a race in where there's people in Florida right now that are worried about their houses and lives. So obviously our thoughts are with the people in Florida as Hurricane Matthew is about to make landfall there and will run up the coast. But that is on the minds of a lot of the drivers and teams because that could potentially affect the way the weekend goes for them. As we see some of the Whelen Modifieds getting staged as they're getting ready to have a race on the quarter-mile track right here in the infield. Take a look at the starting grid. Kevin Harvick wins the pole. Alex Bowman subbing for Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start on the front row with him.
Yeah, surprisingly some non-chasers mixed in. You mentioned Alex Bowman. How about Tony Stewart in row 3 next to A.J. Allmendinger?
Yeah, great run for A.J. Allmendinger and his team. So we need to see more chasers here and sprinkled in some guys that trying to turn their year around. Look at Danica Patrick, a really good qualifying effort in 13.
Yeah, and Roush Fenway teammates of Greg Biffle and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., both inside the top 15.
Go back a little bit further to Chase drivers, nose to tail, row 9 and row 10 with Matt Kenseth, Austin Dillon, and then Brad Keselowski also in row 10 with him.
And then Michael McDowell, row 11, new crew chief. Todd Parrott, good job.
And then Kurt Busch was the worst of our chasers. He's starting in the 23rd position.
All the way back through row 20. Reed Sorensen and Josh Wise. Once again, the big topic has been, will they be able to get on the racetrack tomorrow? The weather is total uncertainty as far as what happens with Hurricane Matthew. Which team is the best prepared that we saw from practice and qualifying today?
Well, I think the jury's still out. You know, this track was very different than what we're going to have whenever they get back on it. They were the first cars on the racetrack. It was the middle of the day. It was pretty overcast. Kevin Harvick said his car was decent in race trim. They made some improvements. He's sitting on the pole. Truex, who's dominant in the 600, is starting 7th. So it seems like it's the same characters we've seen with speed at the mile-and-a-half tracks.
Yes, it is. But in qualifying practice, we saw Martin Truex Jr. and his team. They didn't make many laps in race trim. They feel confident. They know what they need. So the team that put the least effort into it, I believe, was the 78. That's a sign of confidence. They feel like they know what they need. I don't think it's a sign of weakness. If they don't run well, it'll be a sign of weakness, but they obviously feel strong about what they can do in the race.
Starting positions for all the Chase drivers. You just saw it there. The Whelen Modified's about ready to take the track, but we will go to Mecum Auto Auctions from Chicago. That's coming up next. Thanks for joining us here on NBCSN for Qualifying with Sprint Cup Series.